Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. We are live. Ladies and gentlemen, got my co-host with me today. It's going down. We're going to talk about a plethora of issues. We're going to talk about a little bit of, listen, we're just going to get into the meat and potatoes, man. Just introduce yourself. They already know what it is, but introduce yourself.
What's up, guys? I'm Symone with the Sports. You can find me on YouTube, Symone with the Sports, Twitter, Symone_Stanley, Instagram, Symone with the Sports. So Twitter's the only thing that's not on par with everything I got going on. I'll get it right in the future, but yeah, go find me. I'm just talking mostly Eagles and Sixers on YouTube, but then I cover a broad range of sports outside of YouTube. So go ahead and check out Instagram and Twitter.
Facts. And if you haven't checked out the content, I'm gonna tell you right now, man, some of the most entertaining content that you're gonna find. You know what I'm saying? Because listen, everybody I ever collabed with, I wouldn't collab with you if I never watched you before we even had a conversation of collabing. Great A1 content, you know what I'm saying? Always courtside popping out, so you know the content is accurate, man. So you already know. So what you think about Ben Simmons, though, man? Let's talk about it.
So Ben Simmons is like a roller coaster. It's like we were in a relationship with Ben. And you know when you're in a relationship, like you ready to break up. Like they done did the final thing, like it's over. Then time passes, you know, you start feeling bad for them. Like you start reconsidering things. So of course, right after the playoffs, I'm like, cut Ben, it's over with. Like I've been apologizing for Ben way too long during the season. But my biggest thing with Ben is I'm not trying to trade him for scraps. Now I know like our bench does need upholstering. Like our bench, and this is my thing. Ben Simmons was one of the large reasons why we lost. We were a second round exit, but also the lack of depth on our bench was a huge reason why as well. So some people are saying, okay, if we trade Ben, we get a bunch of like bench player assets in return. They're fine with that. But on the same token, then we'll have to go and get a starting caliber point guard. Like we trade Ben and don't get a starting caliber point guard in return, then there's no point in my mind of rushing to trade him right now, because then how we're going to have to address that too. We can't trade him for a 4. I hear people talking about Marvin Bagley.
Negative.
What do they do about the point guard position? Like then we got to trade some more assets to get a starting caliber point guard, because behind Ben, and we can't, I'm not saying this is enough to keep him, but we can't sleep on Ben's defense. Ben's defense won us a lot of games too. And also Ben's facilitation is A1.
Yeah.
It's up there. So we can't sleep on that too. So if we get a mid-grade facilitator, an okay defender at the point guard, but can stretch the floor, is that going to suffice and make up for everything? Like it's a lot of questions.
It's a lot of questions with it. And you know, I agree. I'm not trying to get back just a guy who could just basically fill a spot on the roster. You need a point guard that's going to bring what Ben brought. Probably not all his strong suits like defense, but he's going to play defense, but he's at least going to take an open shot. You need another point guard.
No, that's true.
I think this can go bad for the Philadelphia 76ers. I feel like what we might end up doing is letting go of Ben, thinking we could already just thrust Maxey into that position already. Maxey might be real comfortable coming off the bench and putting up his little 15 every now and then. He might be comfortable doing that right now.
Well, no. You didn't say that. I'm not with Maxey started. Like I love
Not right now. Not right now.
Not right now.
But I think Ben is broken though. I think Ben's broken. And I just tweeted about this. I put it up there. I know people going to disagree, but I just said I would trade Ben and Maxey for Dame. I might give you somebody else too. If you're going to get me Dame, I'm going to trade you Ben and Maxey. I'm cool with doing that. And I'll draft another point guard who Dame could groom. You know what I mean? That could come in for Dame when Dame need a breather. But Ben Simmons ultimately might just gotta go. And it's just he was the biggest reason for our failure in our second round exit. So I don't know, man. They talking about just today, not too long ago, I heard that the Philadelphia 76ers are exploring trade packages. So just give me something back that makes sense, and I'm cool with it, man. I've been hurt. We're gonna get into the reason why I've been hurt. Carson Wentz, back to the relationship thing you was talking about. I was married to Carson.
I was just dating around with Carson.
Listen, I was talking my talk every day. I was talking crazy. I was married to him.
I remember.
MVP. And he go out here and do me like this. You know what I mean? So listen. Now the breakups ain't that hard. Ben, you got to go if you don't get together.
They turn Carson you cold blooded.
Exactly. Listen, man. my ice box. I got an ice box now. You know what I mean? So, what you think about?
You to a savage.
Exactly. He turned me. Listen, I ain't never wifing another one again. Draft grades though. Let's talk about a little bit about the draft. What did you really think about the draft? I don't think I caught the video where I got your perspective on the draft. What do you really think about the draft right now? Now you might got your initial feelings, but now everything done settled. What you really think?
Honestly, I think, and this was kind of my initial too, we should have went cornerback way higher. I wanted to leave the draft feeling safe and sound at cornerback. I'm mad we're in the middle of July and we still don't know who's going to be our starting corner opposite of Darius Slade. We're in the middle of July. It's about to be training camp. My biggest concern heading into the draft was cornerback too. That was my biggest concern. It wasn't wide receiver. I know a lot of people were talking wide receiver, just because it was a lot of hot wide receivers. And I love DeVonta Smith. We got a Heisman guy on the roster. Like, you can't be mad at that. But I feel like we should have went best available corner as soon as we could. And two, going into the draft, I wasn't concerned about the wide receiver. We got a lot of young, hungry wide receivers who we didn't know in a good way what their ceiling was because we didn't get to see them to their full extent. So I wasn't even concerned about wide receiver number one. That was my number two concern, but I wanted us to address the cornerback first and early. I know they was flying off the board, but I wish they would have just did what their job is, which is to strategize and find a guy before the fourth round in ZECH, who we don't even know can be a starting outside corner day one when we play the Atlanta freaking Falcons, who have Matt Ryan throwing to Kyle Pitts, Calvin Ridley, Russell Gage, and Hayden Hurst, and we got Big Play and Avonta Maddox and ZECH McPhearson. Like, what the heck?
Listen, you just scared me the way you laid it out. They got some names over there.
Well, we got to be ready. We got to be ready.
That's true. I agree. So you would have been more comfortable trading up for a cornerback.
Yes.
Instead of trading up for a wide receiver then. Because I'm on board with you. I agree that it was hand in hand. It was like 50-50 for me though. You either had to go wide receiver or cornerback. I wasn't mad with us going wide receiver at all because all of the cornerbacks were off the board like you said. And to trade up and get DeVonta Smith, who we absolutely know the Giants was going to take, I think I can sleep with that.
Yeah.
Talking about a Heisman guy. God just won an SP. He keeps getting accolades. He's bringing into that wide receiver room, I think, some juice. Like, listen, the red carpet basically rolled out for me. Y'all gonna have to step up because I got to live up to this. You know what I'm saying? So them other dudes looking at this dude at the award shows, these dudes ain't even make a dent. If somebody would have made a reasonable dent or impression on their legacy as a young player, then we wouldn't have to drafted a wide receiver. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
Nobody put the work in and nobody took the opportunity to try to be great. So everybody just looked around and we ended up 4-11-1. So listen, it's the consequences, man. If you can't be Robin to this new Batman we got, I think a lot of people are going to show that they don't belong this year. And DeVonta Smith is going to be the measuring stick. I think he's going to separate a lot of people. So yeah,
and a lot of the rooms too, because that running back room just went from 0 to now somebody got to step up too, because it's a lot of stars in that running back room. So that lack of fairness, Boston Scott being our top guy, those days are gone. Like, you boys got to step up every day at training camp.
Exactly. I didn't know that so many people around the Philadelphia area are kind of unsure about Miles Sanders. A lot of people don't think he's like a top 10 guy. Like, a lot of the comments that I've been getting personally, a lot of people are saying that he's unproven. And I don't think that. I think Miles Sanders is a star. He just needs more touches. But a lot of people are unsure about him. So that also can cause, a healthy competition in training camp as well. But as far as I'm concerned with Miles Sanders, he's the guy.
Yeah.
Landon Dickerson. What do you think? It's a lot of ifs with him, man. It's a lot of ifs with Landon Dickerson, but it's like
his perfect world, Landon Dickerson, is amazing. It's incredible. It's wonderful. Perfect world, right? But we don't live in a perfect world. And I feel like some people were addressing the O-line early, surface level, amazing, wonderful, great. You never can go wrong. I think people are upset we addressed it with an injury-prone guy when we had other needs, i.e. cornerback, still needing to be addressed. Now, if Landon Dickerson can stay healthy, like I said, an amazing pick, But we've been so wounded. Like I said, these relationships, we got a bad relationship. We got trust issues with the O-line.
Exactly.
We got trust issues. And these guys haven't been healthy. So it's kind of like, dang, not only did we not go corner, we got this guy that is not healthy, even at the moment. Now, he's not.
Yeah, it was crazy. It was crazy. So my initial reaction to that was it was a reach. But then, I'm not a huge college football guy. So I start looking him up. You know what I mean? And you talking about a mountain of a man, like an animal, like a violent, like he's like violent borderline. And I'm like, yo, I could rock with that. I could rock with that type of gameplay. But I think it was a bit of a reach with the injury history.
Mm-hmm.
Bit of a
Especially
reach with the
since we
injury
got
history.
injury guys already on the O-line. We don't know what they're going to look like coming back. We don't know what Andre. We don't know what Brandon Brooks is going to look like. Lane Johnson's been busted. We don't know what these guys are going to look like coming back, especially when they're so big. Mm-hmm. They're not meant to be doing all that movement with all that weight on those knees. That's exactly. Not natural. So we don't know what they're going to look like coming back.
And I think everything rides on the health of the offensive line and how good the offensive line can be. Even Jalen Hurts' success. Everything has to start with this offensive line. If they can't stay healthy, Jalen Hurts is going to do more running than passing. And I believe he's a tremendously underrated passer. You know what I mean? He's going to do more running than passing, and more mistakes get made that way. So, the football team, we got to understand that this offensive line is definitely important to us. What's some of your top position battles in training camp that you want to see?
Running back. Now, the only reason why I say running back number one is because I've been just unimpressed by the running back room lately. And of course, that's the injuries. Like, you can't do nothing about that. But having Nick Sirianni coming in from the Colts offense was always super exciting to watch, especially not even having no business with the Colts, not even in our division, not in our conference, but they always give a good show on Sundays. And if we can get some replication of that offense in Philly, and it all starts in their running back room, how versatily they're able to use those running backs. Of course, I went to NC State. I was at State with Nyheim Hines. So seeing him at the Colts, just doing his thing has been really cool. And then also having Nick Sirianni compare Kenneth Gainwell to Nyheim Hines and saying like how he's going to get that explosiveness and that creativity going in the running back room. I'm super excited for that. We got a lot of guys in the running back room. Like we said, Miles Sanders is a lot, but after that, a lot of guys will have to be battling out. We got Kerryon Johnson from the Lions. And if we get that running game going, like you said, it's going to make things so much easier for Jalen Hurts, having a natural, organic running game for him. That's going to make things so much easier for him, take a lot of pressure off him. And I don't want to see, he's cute. It's great that you can do it, but I don't want to see Jalen Hurts running all the time like that.
Yeah, I don't want to see that either. I mean, come on, you're talking about a guy that was 70% in college. His last year in college where he was nominated for the Heisman. That's amazing. And I don't understand how people want to keep telling us that he can't throw the ball. He was 70%. But then they want to tell us college, that was college. They telling me Zach Wilson is basically Jesus Christ from what he did in college. You know what I mean? So right. I don't get it, man. I don't get it. 70% is good. I think he could pass the ball. I think the running game is going to help him, like you said. But as far as my top position battle, I definitely got to see what's going on with that left tackle position. I'm almost excited because the growth that Jordan Mailata has shown us in a very short time, and the small sample size we saw out of a first-round pick in Andre Dillard, I think that's just going to be the clash of the Titans right there, man. I think they really going to battle it out. You know what I mean? I'm excited about that one right there. What you think about you already talked about your expectations for the cornerback position. You want to have, a better or a solid guy at the CB2 spot. So as far as Zech McPhearson goes, do you think if we don't bring somebody in, we should try to see what we get out of him? Start him from day one, or would you go back with Avonte Maddox simply because you saw something from him at least? You know what I mean?
Some trash.
but it's
okay. Look, that's a tough spot. We know Avonte's trash on the outside. So my thing is, now of course it gets dicey in football because it's like we don't know what we're going to get from Zech. But he doesn't have that NFL experience. Avonte has NFL experience. So even though Avonte's undersized, like he has that NFL experience that's going to have him just naturally better and more instinctive over Zech coming in day one against the Atlanta Falcons and Mercedes-Benz when they're bringing that whole receiving core and Matt Ryan ready to pick us apart. I'm not sure if I'm throwing ZECH into that fire day one. So we'll see what he does at training camp. But I guess if we don't bring anybody in, bring DEVONTA in. So ZECH want to get embarrassed week one, and then that's his whole confidence snatched. It just sucks.
Yeah, because it's not like we asking him to be a rotational guy. He's basically going to be opposite of Slay from the
Mm-hmm.
get-go if he was to come in week 2. So, yeah, I got to agree with you. But Julio won't be there, so I guess he won't be lined up with Calvin Ridley. But at the same time, that's still a position that I wouldn't want to be in. So, the moral of the story, I think we both can agree on this. The Philadelphia Eagles need to go get another cornerback, like
Period.
tomorrow.
Tonight.
Speaking of that, I think we got a good chance in training camp though. They just announced that we're going to have some joint practices with the Patriots in New York. So maybe
Yeah.
Howie Roseman can be around some DMs and start to wiggle his way around and talk to people. I don't know, but he
Right.
got to do something, man, because I haven't, like I said, Zach. I think he comes from a smaller college, so I really haven't seen a lot from him at all to
Yeah.
even dissect what he could possibly do. What's your expectations for Jalen Hurts?
Expectations as in like what I want to see him do well, or like when you say expectations, like what I want my dream scenario, or like what I want to see him do well. Like,
Both.
so I want to see him. Now, my expectations aren't super like through the roof. Like, I know a lot of people are like, Jalen Hurts has to come in and blow us out the water. But I
Mhm.
feel like that narrative was created just because of the Carson Wentz controversy. Like, we got to be real with ourselves. If Jalen Hurts comes out week 1, week 2, week 3, week 4 and is amazing, then that's just best case scenario. That's just a dream scenario. But we got to remember the way Jalen Hurts got thrown into the fire last season, those last 4 games last season, all the controversy he's been through this off season as well. So I'm not expecting him to come in and blow us out the first couple of games, but I definitely want to see him improve over the season. Like I said, I don't want to see all those scrambles, all those running plays. I want to see Jalen Hurts being a quarterback and using his arm to win us games. And I have no doubt that Jalen Hurts is doing whatever he needs to do to develop and get better, because he's always shown that he's a guy that's going to be in the gym getting that work in and working and improving what he needs to improve. So I just want to see him using that arm to win us games, being patient as well, being the natural leader like we know he's going to be. But I just hope that he can just really shut up the haters and the doubters. I haven't really been seeing as many haters and as many doubters, but a lot of people are saying like, oh, Jalen Hurts could be our savior, our savior. I feel like it's putting too much pressure on him. We don't need Jalen Hurts to be our savior this year. Like, that's putting too much expectation, too much pressure. He's a second-year guy that only had 4 starts under his belt. Like, what do you expect from that on any given day? You don't expect Tom Brady to come out there. You just expect the guy to get better than he was last season. So that's really what I'm hoping for.
Because I think the improvement has to kind of be gradually. Like, you gotta be better, because it's only been a small sample size. But I wouldn't be lying if I know that Eagles football is not about feelings. A lot of it is about feelings, but some things are just about it is what it is, and you got to wait and see. I am borderline thinking that we got a superstar. I don't know why, but something is telling me that. Something's telling me that. I'm borderline on that. I'm gonna keep it all the way real. I just think that him being a dual threat and the way that he can throw the ball, I think he's going to catch a lot of people by surprise. And the team wants to play for him. These are guys who were fans of his who we drafted. Let's talk about it. He was up there for the Heisman. These dudes are fans of Jalen Hurts. They want to play with him. You know
They
what I
do.
mean? He didn't come from no small program. He didn't come from North Dakota State. Not a shot at Carson Wentz. He didn't come from a program like that. He came from one of them top ones. So where superstars come from. And dudes know his name, and dudes really want to play with him. All I keep hearing about is the work ethic. I was impressed with the small sample size. So, like, a perfect scenario for me, honestly, would be for him to, mitigate the turnovers and get somewhere close to 3,600 passing yards, show that he's a dual threat, and keep the offense competitive. That's all I really can ask for right now. But like a dream scenario, like you said, would be to win the division and lead this team and not
Yeah.
miss no games and be the guy the whole way and get that division crown from your first time start. And that's a dream scenario right now, just in a short grand scheme of things. Has Nick Sirianni impressed you enough yet right now? You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
I'm loving what I'm seeing from Nick Sirianni. Like I said, Nick, and this is no shade to Doug or no other coaches, but they didn't really give me personality. Nick
Mm-hmm.
is a guy that seems like he's one of the guys, like we are saying about you saying they're fans of Jalen Hurts, they get him, he's getting them fired up. He seems like a guy that has natural energy, and he's working with a lot of we now have a super young team, and for him to have that natural like kid energy, that's going to translate, and that's going to get guys fired up and wanting to play for him. Everybody has different playing styles and coaching styles, and like I said, it's not a shade to a more like cut and dry coach like Doug was. But if you have a guy that's super pumped up, he's out there looking like he's super excited, super happy to be out there like a kid just on the football field, that's going to translate to those guys, and that's going to get them fired up too. So I'm loving what I'm seeing from Nick Sirianni, because it seems like he's just having a lot of fun and enjoying actually being out there with the guys.
Yeah, exactly. I can't complain with that, man. I can't complain with nothing that he said. So far, he's saying what I like to hear. Like you said, just the movements and the competition alone. I never saw that ball drill where you have the pole and the string that's connected to the ball, and I never saw that in the Doug Peterson era. I never saw just guys wanting to be around each other, man. It's just like one big family. And I think the cards are in favor of Nick Sirianni simply because he kept the bloodline of the team together. The offensive line is still intact. The defensive line is still intact. He got a lot to work with. So I think he's in a good position. Do you think he could win the division?
I feel like, well, I'm an optimistic person. Like every season, I'm going in thinking like we're gonna win the division.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. So I feel like we're going to win the division. Like our biggest problem last season was injuries. Like our offensive line was super busted. Rodney McLeod, Miles Sanders, the wide receiver core, guys coming in and out. If we could come in this season, Dallas Goedert as well, Carson Wentz being stank, having an attitude, Doug Peterson having his beef. Like now we got the drama out and the injuries out. I feel like we can really get this thing together. And a lot of our games last season, I felt like were close and just came down to coaching and the running game. So I feel like we definitely come in and win the division. I feel like we have to. We have to.
I feel like we are going to win the division. I mean, let's listen. You probably already know how I feel. This division ain't nothing to be scared about. I'm not scared of none of these dudes in this division. No Dallas Cowboy, no Washington, whatever your name about to be next week, or no New York Giant. I ain't scared of none of them dudes in this division. They easy work. They running around with a 6-win division. You know what I mean? That ain't hard to accomplish.
Right.
We be right back in the ball game, man. So I really feel like, Sirianni can win the division.
We were still in the hunt late last season.
Like, come on. Like, they acting like it wasn't decided week 17.
Literally.
We definitely was still in the hunt, man. So I like what I'm seeing, man, out of Nick Sirianni. I also like what I'm seeing out of Jonathan Gannon, man. I like the way that he approaches the game in terms of putting dudes in the best situation to succeed. I like coaches that have an influence. Jonathan Gannon brought over Eric Wilson, who I got really high hopes for in the linebacking core, because the linebacking core ain't never good. Brought over Anthony Harris, who's a very underrated free agent signing. You know what I mean? He got influence. I like a guy with influence, man. You ain't never been over here, but you could bring people over here with you.
Exactly. That says a lot.
I'm with that. It says a lot about you, man. I'm with that, man. I think the coach that has the hardest job, though, is Aaron Moorhead. I think he got a hard job, man. That wide receiver coach position this year, because you got guys that this year second. We retained you. You know what I mean? After going 4-11-1, we had to draft another guy for your position that you coach. You know what I mean? So I feel like that the development gotta be there for Jalen Reagor this season. Jalen Reagor absolutely has to show that he learned something from last season. You know what I mean? What's some brief expectations for him being a second-year guy, a guy who you would think would be either the slot or opposite of Devontae Smith? What's some expectations for him?
Like we were saying about Hurts, like he has to just show more than he did before. And that's not even really on Reagor.
Injury really hurt him.
Injuries, and then too, like we put this narrative on him that he has to come in and be a superstar. Justin Jefferson should have been drafted ahead of him. Like that's not on him. Like that's on us. So we're saying, oh, look at what Justin Jefferson's doing and look at what Jalen's doing. That's not Jalen's fault that we took him ahead of Justin.
I never, you know what? I never thought about it like that.
That's on us. So we're putting these expectations. Oh, you got to be Jay Jettas.
Yeah.
He never said he was Jay Jettas. We didn't.
Right.
He did. That's on us. I just want
never,
Jalen.
yo, I've been blaming Howie for not making the move, but I never accepted accountability as an Eagles fan. Like, yo, that's our fault. It's our
That's
bad. You know what I mean?
That's our bad. That ain't no
Right.
Jalen. Jalen said, hey, I never asked for none of that. But like we said about Jalen Hurts, Jalen has to come in and he has to be a star. Now, DEVONTA is our shining star, but Jalen, you need to be a star too. Jalen needs to step up. He needs to be that Calvin Ridley to DEVONTA's Julio. Yeah, DEVONTA's putting up numbers, but you need to be putting up numbers too, Jalen. Like, because we still have a lot of expectations for him. Like I said, injuries, he can't help that. Like, he barely got to see anything. And then too, like I said, that toxic environment. Now, we did bring back Aaron Moorhead, and it's a lot more competition in the room. But I just want to see Jalen Reagor improving. And yeah, I'm not sure what they're. I guess we might be seeing him in the slot.
I think ideally, because honestly, if you want to be for real, Travis Fulgham showed me a whole lot.
He did.
He showed me a lot. You know what I mean? That he could be on that opposite side.
But what about Greg Ward?
And you know, we got attached. You know, I don't want this to sound crazy. We absolutely got attached to guys who probably wouldn't make a roster anywhere else.
Thank you.
We got attached to these guys, so it's like we feel compelled to. What about we feel compelled to even speak about them when he wouldn't make a roster nowhere else.
Great. Because look, that's exactly how I feel. It's so many people saying Boston Scott and freaking Greg Ward. There's so many people saying like we owe them something because they stepped up for us when we had nothing. We owe them the check we paid them. Now we don't owe them anything else. If they get beat out, they get beat out. Appreciate your time. They
did what they were supposed to do. What they did by stepping up like that was ensure that they'll at least make a practice squad somewhere. You know what I'm saying? No, somebody going to pick you up because you do got a nice resume of being the guy that can step in and get some things done. Every team need that. But we don't need to make fill-in guys or bona fide starters that we need to be feeling sorry for. Listen, Arthur-Whiteside might be gone. Greg Ward might be gone. That is the facts. Hightower might be gone. You know what I mean? Boston Scott, I think, is going to be gone. You know, it's just the facts.
No, that's 1,000% because we have, like you said, Travis Fulgham. The big body guy, and Travis Fulgham is our biggest body.
Exactly.
DeVonta Smith, Jalen. Then we still got Hightower, Quiz, the miscellaneous guys. We don't even know what the heck they're going to do yet. Just don't know if there's room for another slot guy like Greg. We got slot guys. And then it's given DEVONTA can play in the slot too. Like that's just one of the positions where it's like you could throw a rock, you get a guy in the slot. So sorry, Greg.
But I will say this: I believe Doug Peterson didn't do absolutely right by Greg Ward. And I mean, when I say this, this is what I mean. Had he let Greg Ward throw the ball, who was a former quarterback, his stock could have risen, and maybe we could have found a different use for him. Like, what's the guy that used to play for Pittsburgh? What was it, Antoine Randall? He would occasionally throw a pass. You know what I mean? And throw a touchdown pass at that. If you could be creative and really use the guy, you rise his stock. He's primarily a quarterback that is learning how to play slot receiver. You know what I mean? And had we, done right by him, I think we could have found an extra use for a guy like that, especially, playing a style of football that I think we might be playing with Jalen Hurts in the game. So what's our record, man? What's our record? You already think we're going to win a division like I do. How many wins total do you think is going to take for us to do it?
So I believe we'll at least go 3-3 in the division. Hopefully we go 4-2 in the NFC East. So let's say we go 4-2. Let's say we go 4-2. Don't know about the Falcons week 1 because, like I said, it's
that's
week 1.
I'm telling you now, we beating them.
Look. Like I said, I'm not saying we can't win, but I'm saying
I feel
it's week 1 and we have a billion new pieces, and this is week 1 on the road, and we have a bunch of new pieces, a bunch of guys we don't even know what the heck they're gonna do yet. Week 1, still working out kinks. But the Falcons, like I said, the Falcons gonna give up 50 points, but they're probably gonna score 57. Like it's gonna be a shootout in my opinion because they don't have no defense. But Matt already has that connection with Calvin. He already has that connection with Russ. He already working on that connection with Kyle Pitts. The guy Jalen Hurts as well. All those weapons, Matt's going to be slinging that ball, especially if we got ZECH McPherson or Avonta Maddox or the outside. Now I know they're missing Julio Jones, but
That's a big piece, though.
it's
That's
a
a
big
big
piece.
but.
But let me say this. They know how to win without Julio. Julio is hurt all the time, just like our Alshon Jeffrey. They know how to win without Julio because they have to do it all the time because he's never healthy for a full season. So that's a huge piece, but they've been without Julio a billion times before. So week 1, I might have to say that might be an L. So I'm gonna say 4-3. We play the Chiefs, right?
So do you think we beat the Chiefs and the Bucks? I think in order to win the division, I think you might have to knock one of them off at least. I think you got to get a signature win like that because it's going to build confidence for some of the teams that you probably should beat. I think we're going to catch one of them slipping. Not both, but we're going to catch one of them. Probably the Bucks.
See, it's so hard in football.
It's very hard.
It's so hard because it's no room for error. It's not like basketball, you play the team 3-4 times. It's like little room for error. I don't know. I got the Bucks and the Chiefs.
This is why I believe we're going to beat Atlanta. At least okay, the Bucks and the Chiefs might be a little too confident. But I think we could beat Atlanta. I think that, not having Julio is exceptionally different than having to, game plan to be without him for a whole season. Now the offense don't, circulate around doubling Julio. I don't think nobody's going to get doubled. And Matt Ryan is older. He's a stationary target. What we do have is that defensive line. I think we're going to get after Matt Ryan enough that offense automatically misses Julio. Yeah, I think Kyle Pitts ain't no Julio. I refuse to believe it, even though they want me to believe it so much. Yeah, he's not no Julio right now. You got to show that. So it is what it is, man. So I don't want to go. If I go game by game, I feel like I'm gonna find more losses than me just blurting out a number.
Right.
So I think it'll take 9 wins probably. I think 9 wins.
Yeah,
I think we can win it with 9 wins.
Because it's 17 games now, so now 9 wins would be a winning record. So actually, I'm gonna say I'm gonna say 8 wins. I still think it's 8 wins. If we go 8-9, I feel like we win the division. We go 8-9 because Cowboys still have a lot of questions on their defense. Washington football team has a lot of questions on their offense, especially in the quarterback position. The Giants are still the Giants, even though they added some weapons too. But I feel like if we go 8-9, we got the division. But we might go 9-8.
I think a lot of more things has to be said about Dak Prescott and if he's even going to be ready. I don't think he was cleared for contact. You know what I mean? I had 2 knee surgeries. Now he broke a bone, but listen, them things still got to heal. He still feel that when it rained. That thing's still tender, man. So I mean, we got to see how he looking too. So yeah, man, that's all I had though, man. This was like, listen, I was supposed to collab with you for so long. I'm glad we got it out the way. It's definitely going to be many more to come. What you got coming up recently on all your platforms?
What I have coming up, like YouTube.
Yeah, whatever you got coming up, let us know.
So just more Sixers propaganda being spread. Some more Eagle stuff. I'm trying to do some more vlogs. So people aren't, you know how the algorithm works. So I'm trying to integrate my vlogs into the algorithm. So I got a lot of stuff coming up at work. So just like some sports reporter vlogs are still going to be coming out, whether people going to watch it or not. Also, we posted some of my play-by-play and color commentary because the long-term goal for me is to be doing play-by-play and color commentary. So I'm going to be posting some more of those clips just to get them out,
That's fire. I'll definitely tune into that. I got to get my play-by-play game down pack, man, because I feel like I just be too in tune with the game, and then I'll say something while I'm watching the game that I wouldn't say on camera. And then it's like, then it just get weird from there. I'm like, man, what the, you know what I mean?
Right. That's why I try to cuss in like real life, like outside of the video, because I don't want to be like on the broadcast and then say a wrong word just because it's naturally in my language.
Exactly.
Right.
That's what people got to understand. I was just playing Call of Duty, and a couple subscribers, I guess, found out who I was and was playing. And I was like, man, I was going in. I might have had a little bit of the brown water. I was chilling in the man cave. I'm like, man, blah, 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 blah. I'm like, oh.
Right.
Cut that joint right off. No, but yeah, man, like I said, I appreciate you. So, look, man, we gotta do this again, man. If you ever need me, you already know.
Definitely.
You know what I mean? We could definitely make something happen. All right, y'all, man. We out. Until next time.
Bye, guys.